In a silent cell of concrete and regret, a man sits, once a guardian of national secrets, now a prisoner of his own betrayal. Every whisper of the past echoes louder than the ticking clock. This is not just a story of espionage, it's a story of trust, temptation, and the price of crossing the invisible line between patriot and traitor. Before the betrayal, there was brilliance. He was one of the agency's best, a master of disguise, deception, and data. But when brilliance meets loneliness, cracks form. A single encrypted file, unsigned, unexpected, appeared in his system. That was the beginning of the end. The message was simple, but deadly. A proposal written in silence and greed. We know who you are. We can make you rich. He hesitated, knowing every keystroke could be his undoing. But the human heart doesn't always choose logic. It listens to the quiet promises of power. The exchange happened fast. A crowded cafe, two strangers, one unmarked envelope. Cameras watched from every corner, but secrets have a way of slipping between the frames. He felt the rush of danger, and for the first time, the taste of betrayal. Money came, guilt followed. Each transaction was another step into darkness. The agency noticed irregularities, reports missing, files corrupted. But he was careful. He was sure. Until one day, a familiar voice asked him to come in for a quick talk. They had known all along. Every movement, every encrypted file, traced and logged. The moment he sat in that chair, the walls began to close. He wasn't a spy anymore. He was evidence. The trial was never public. Spies like him didn't make headlines. They disappeared into case files and coded archives. He watched from behind glass as words like treason and life sentence echoed in the cold courtroom. Somewhere deep down, he knew. Every secret he sold had already sentenced him, long before the gavel fell. Inside the walls of confinement, time moved differently. The walls never spoke, but they remembered. Each creak of the bed, each drip of water, reminded him of the world he betrayed. In the dark, he replayed every choice and realized betrayal was never about money. It was about losing himself, piece by piece. Outside those walls, nations shifted and secrets evolved. But for him, time froze. He was no longer a man. He was a warning, a symbol whispered among agents. Never trade honor for silence. Still, some nights, he could swear he heard the hum of encrypted frequencies, as if his ghosts were calling back. In his dreams, he walked through corridors of glass again, the place where it all began. But now, every reflection showed the same faceless figure, staring back with silent judgment. Redemption was a word he could no longer define. The only truth left was that trust, once sold, can never be bought back. Years passed. The world outside forgot his name, but his story lived on. In quiet warnings whispered across the intelligence halls. Some said he lost everything. Others said he found peace in solitude. But those who truly knew whispered that the spy never stopped listening. Even from behind the bars. Solitude became his only companion, and silence his truest punishment. The guards changed, the walls aged, yet he remained. He counted years not in seasons, but in echoes. Every sound beyond those walls, a distant truck, a door closing, became a fragment of the life he once had and would never touch again. He had stopped marking the days long ago. Freedom became an abstract concept, not a door or horizon, but the absence of memory. Yet sometimes, in dreams, he walked under open skies, his faceless reflection blending into the clouds. For a brief moment, he would remember who he used to be, before the silence consumed him.
Rumors whispered through the corridors.
A possible release, a name erased from files. Hope was dangerous, a trick of the mind. Yet for the first time in years, he felt something different. A tremor inside the silence. Maybe it wasn't freedom calling. Maybe it was the world reminding him that even forgotten men cast shadows. The door opened one morning, without reason. No words, no guards. Just air. Fresh, cold, unfamiliar. He didn't move at first. The world outside had become a foreign language. But freedom, like memory, never forgets its way back. Slowly he rose and stepped into the unknown light. Faceless, yet reborn. He didn't look back. Some prisons have walls. Others live within us. But beyond those walls, he saw not forgiveness, only reflection. For what he had done, there were no second chances. Yet as he stepped forward into the light, his story was far from over. It was merely changing shape. The world outside was loud, but his soul had forgotten sound. Every face he passed reflected fragments of what he once was. A spy, a traitor, a man made of secrets. But in the crowd, he was invisible again, a ghost of polished silence walking among the living. Redemption was not in freedom. It was in surviving what freedom meant. Days turned into patterns, the rhythm of anonymity. But destiny, like a shadow, always finds its mark. One evening, a folded newspaper on a park bench carried a headline that froze him in place. A new breach, a familiar method. His past was no longer buried. Somewhere, someone had learned from the traitor's playbook, and the cycle had begun again. He thought the story had ended behind bars, but secrets have a way of escaping their keepers. Somewhere, new hands were playing the same dangerous game. And as he disappeared once more into the rain-soaked streets, one question lingered. Was he running from his past or returning to it? The next chapter was already being written.